We also have our eye on tomorrow is World Press Freedom Day, and there are some new numbers out that reveal the way the American people feel about our free press here in the U.S., and none of these numbers are going to surprise you, but it's always interesting to dig into the specifics. Let's put this first piece up on the screen. This is from the AP. And the question here is the news media doing more to increase political divisions in the U.S., decrease political divisions, or does it not have any impact? And 74% of Americans say that it increases divisions. I want to meet this 6% that says it decreases divisions. 18% say it has no impact. So this is an overwhelming indictment of the press and of what they're doing. You know, it gets to the core of Matt Taibbi's book on this subject, that effectively the media's whole job and how they fill a 24-hour news cycle now is to convince you that your fellow American is the gravest threat to you and your security and your way of life. And people obviously here seeing through the game.
Yeah, I'm glad that they do. And we've always known this. I've told this story before, but I met a guy once who made many billions of dollars, and he said, always bet on charts. And whenever I think about the success of this show, and not just this show, so many of the other independent shows that are out there, and you put them all together, and the viewership is many orders of magnitude, combined than, let's say, the total 3 cable news media, it comes back to this chart. Always bet on, trust in the mainstream media. And then the fact is that the vast majority of Americans not only don't like the news, they actively blame the news for dividing the nation. And I think everyone in this country can have some sort of personal experience for both right and left to think back to, think about a grandma, one of those people who's got a TV installed in the kitchen just so they can watch Fox all day. I wish I was joking. There are a lot more people than you might think who have literally done that, who can recite to you almost word for word, whatever the scandal of the day is. But then also think about, somebody screaming in somebody's face over holding up a sign for somebody that they don't disagree with, or going out of their way to prompt a public confrontation over something, which again is fueled almost entirely by the news media and by social media or any of those things that is surfaced up to them. And just think, is any of this necessary? Because I don't think it is. And one of the things that I think we can come away with is that if you do talk to one another, most people on a very, very basic level are not the caricatures that they seem. Most are far more multifaceted and nuanced and understanding than anybody would ever think than if they watch the news where they currently are. And I do think it is at least heartening, even though many people are still locked into the system, that most people do at the very least understand that. Now, I can understand that. I think most humans can both understand that and be victim to it. So try to minimize the victimization as much as possible and instead have that understanding as you go through your life.
Well, because I also think there's a real tendency of people to see media as a problem, but not their particular media.
Yeah, it's like when people hate Congress, but then they like their congressman.
Yes.
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if you're an MSNBC watcher, you're like, well, they're not the problem. It's, Fox News. And if you're a Fox News watcher, you're like, well, Fox isn't the issue. It's those morons over at, MSNBC. And it's always funny to me when they portray themselves as not being mainstream media, when it's like, you are the largest cable news network. Like, whatever you were when you were a scrappy upstart, you are not that anymore. You are definitely part of the mainstream press of America. You won't be surprised to learn also Republicans had a less favorable view of the media, although there were a lot of negative views of the media to be had on all partisan identifications. Put this next piece up on the screen. So here the question is the news media hurting democracy? 61% of Republicans said yes, 23% of Democrats said yes, 36% of independents. Now, there's been I think ever in my entire life, there's always been a trend of Republicans being more skeptical of the media and feeling like their views and perspectives and cultural values weren't reflected in the mainstream press. But I also don't think there's any doubt about the fact that that has escalated in the Trump years, and that, you also now have Democrats that feel similarly frustrated with the press. There are a lot of Democrats who feel like the news media propped up Donald Trump for ratings back in 2016. They have all sorts of issues with the press as well. So you do have those numbers inching up. You also have overwhelming concern about quote-unquote misinformation. I suspect that there's a lot of different definitions and understandings of what misinformation might be, but put this up on the screen. 90% saying that misinformation is a problem. Only 10% saying that it is not a problem. I agree with that 90% when you look at, Russiagate hoax, for example. You look over at
Depends
Fox.
on your definition.
Yeah, you look over at Fox News at the way they clearly knew Stop the Steal was a lie, but they went forward with like pushing on their network anyway. So I agree misinformation is a problem, but I doubt that I agree with everything that 90% defines as misinformation would be my guess.
Exactly. It's like when you ask Republicans and Democrats, is democracy a problem? And you say they all say yes, and they go, who's the problem? And they say Democrats.
They're like pointing at each other.
Well, hold on a second. We're talking past each other. The next one too is important. Put this up there around social media. When you see a news story on social media, you quote, expect it to be accurate. Only 66% say yes. 33% say that's inaccurate. We got to get that inaccurate number up.
Yeah, for sure. Especially given AI that we've been discussing, like you all need to get a whole lot more skeptical immediately right now.
So look, I think what you can really take away is Americans are very unhappy with the news media. They're unhappy for a variety of different reasons. But unhappiness is opportunity for everybody who's involved. That's part of what we're trying to do here. That's part of what a lot of people are trying to do all over the internet. And overall, I think that's a good thing because what it does is fill in a void that exists and that has been artificially almost propped up. In any other business which wasn't as fake, this long ago would have died. Now, unfortunately, for a variety of cultural and economic reasons, it hasn't been. But that just makes the fight, I think, even more important, considering that the news, by and large, is the medium through which people experience civic life and politics. I don't think it should be that way, but it is. And so that just makes their importance even higher whenever it comes to policy and the way that people interact with each other on a day-to-day basis. I sometimes see people like in traffic who have bumper stickers. They're like, if you're a liberal, like here's the and I just want to be like, dude, like what compelled you to go out and to buy that sticker and to peel it off and put it on your car and have some smug thing, or vice versa, opposite. And I'm always just like, what's going on in your life where you thought that this is like an appropriate thing to do and behave as an adult?
Yeah,
it's very odd. Like, it doesn't come from. It's not a natural thing. It's one of those where that came from somewhere. And I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's like you're putting a bumper sticker on your car that's like, I hate half of the country.
It's like, why?
Okay,
why are you doing this?
Doesn't seem very healthy for you.
Just drive the car, man. Just go to work. Drive to something that you enjoy, or or lady. You should see some of these woke ladies that I live around. Some of the signs that these people have in their windows. It could crack you up. Anyway, I think it's important for people to know it's not a natural human thing. It comes from somewhere, and we can change it. And it hasn't always been this way, so that's a good thing.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.